pacing around. All right, here we go. Finance Junkies, Thursday, June 1st, 2023. We are here. Hello, everybody in the chat. JT, Big Ray, D Finney, Everclear, Abadeep Singh, Tommy Trotters, Douglas, thank you all for being here. Paul Goggin, Nijam, thank you all, 140 people for being here as we begin Finance Junkies. Chris, how's your day been?
Good, man. Good. Just trying to get my headphones to work. There we go.
Okay, very cool. Now I'm in your ears. So we Vitaly's going to be about 20-30 minutes late. We've got Carlos coming in a second. He's just on a phone call right now. So we're going to get started with the show, and then we're going to keep going from there. It has been quite a day. A lot of different stuff is going on. There's some crazy controversy going on right now on Twitter with potentially content that's not being shown to a lot of people, some censorship stuff, Elon Musk. There's just a ton of stuff going on right now. So let's get into the biggest news of the day. I think the craziest thing was we got a short report on Palantir. And the short report on Palantir was very interesting because the guy that wrote it has a very substantial following, about 150,000 followers or 100,000 on Twitter, called Bear Cave or something like that. I think that's what it's called. And he put out a report. It's behind a $64 paywall. But the argument essentially is that Palantir is a fraud AI company. In fact, Chris, you called me because I didn't even know this report was out. I was somewhere early this morning. And you're like, yo, did you see the short report? I was like, what short report? What is that? And apparently there's a short report out. So what were your raw thoughts to it? Do you think it's legit? Any credence to it? And why do you think he put it out today?
I didn't see the entirety of it because I'm like, bro, I'm not paying no $64. I'm trying to figure out how to bypass the paywall to read it, but I may end up just relenting and just paying and just to see what it is. But surface level, it was pretty much just an accusation or a perception rather than numbers. But that's because I didn't read the paid part of it. Maybe the paid part of it can, has like the raw numbers in there, some of the other stuff behind it. I don't particularly like short reports because they can really skew sentiment in a certain direction. But I also don't think we should ignore them because sometimes the short reports actually reveal a lot of details that, people may or may not be missing. You look at the Enrons of the world, the Bernie Madoffs of the world. A lot of these things were brought down by short. So we're actually investigating and digging deep into it. Like Bernie Madoff, especially if you look at the person, I think Harry Markopoulos, who did the report on Bernie Madoff, he was sounding the alarms to the SEC way before the SEC even was like looking at this whole thing. So yeah, there is a place in this world for short reports. But like I said, I reserve my judgment on it until I see the whole thing in its entirety and I can evaluate its numbers properly and then go from there. Like a good example of a short report that scared a lot of people but had little meaning was probably the one that was directed at Enphase. There was a short report written about Enphase about 2-3 years ago from, I think, Scorpion Capital. Mm-hmm. I read through it and it didn't seem 100% right, but it also like left a lot of questions that, hey, maybe there's something to look at from there. But this is just the company has outperformed the short report, and that's what happens. Like, yeah,
I think my number one reason for why the short report is probably bullshit, even though I didn't pay the $64, is because if you were so Hindenburg is a notorious short seller on companies, and they put out all their research for free. They don't put it behind a Substack paywall that takes 10% of it, and then Stripe takes another 10% of it. If you actually short a stock, you want to proliferate, you want to permeate as much information out there that is FUD or truth about the stock so that the stock price goes down, so that people sell. They're like, holy shit, this is a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. Let me get out of this stock. And you make money on the downside.
I disagree with that. And
wait, so let me finish the syllogism real quick, then I want to hear your response. Mm-hmm. Why would you put research behind a short report under $64? Even if you sell 100 of them, you make 6,400, which it's not that easy to sell these short reports, right? Like just like you and me, we're not going to pay for that, and people can get it for free. Versus profiting on the downside of the stock. Like, why wouldn't it make more sense to monetize the report from that perspective versus paying for it, which leads to the fact there's probably no credibility in the report?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, who would you rather believe? Someone who's just writing a report and asking for a few bucks, or someone who's got skin in the game?
No, I don't think that's a good argument. I don't think that's a good argument.
No, I think a person who's got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to lose has more of an incentive than the guy who's just writing something to write it. Like, here's an example, like coffee.
No, but if you have that money to lose, why would you put it behind a paywall?
No, But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, look at CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla right now, he does all his stuff for free. All he really has is just a Patreon that people donate to and whatnot. But he really goes deep into investigating and stuff like that. This guy is trying to just monetize his research so that he can get it without seeming like he's profiting like super, what's the word? Like, doesn't have a outsized incentive to bring the stock down. You know what I mean? Like,
No, but
if you
that's my
look at
point.
Hindenburg,
That's my point.
yeah.
CoffeeZilla doesn't put his content behind a paywall.
No, but I'm trying to tell you, who's got more of an incentive to write something negative about a company? Someone who's got hundreds of $1 millions to lose, or someone who's just like looking for a few bucks here and there so that he could just
No,
present
but
an idea?
but the reason I don't think the argument makes sense is because distribution is what causes a short report to actually get the stock to drop. And so if you're short a company, $64 is nothing compared to the stock going from 14 to 7.
But that's the whole point. I don't think this guy is even saying like, hey, this is the price target, but he's just saying, look, I'm seeing irregularities in this thing. But here's the thing. Neither of us have read it yet. That's all. Like, so we can't really judge it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, from an incentive perspective, I see someone who's got hundreds of thousands of dollars riding on a short report. They've got more of an incentive. Not to mention, I think this guy pumps out short reports like all the time. This is not something that.
So then it's not really a short report. It's just it's like a Seeking Alpha bearish article.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
That's kind of what it feels like more than but
exactly.
The short report brand makes people more scared in general.
Yeah.
I
mean,
when you release it, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say some people are just naturally good at looking for inconsistencies in stuff. But then there's also a lot of times where things are stupid. Like, here's an example. There was someone who like during this whole thing with Meta, when Meta was down to like $80, like Meta had to refresh one of its compensation plans. And so people were like, oh my God, Meta's like diluting its shareholders. And like I had to correct it. And the thing that I hated about this the most is that there were CFAs freaking promoting this shit. Like, dude, like CFAs are supposed to like look past all of this stuff and understand what is actually going on, and not like what's the word, like retweet a message that was completely false. And so I think that's where I find that when people retweet or like justify a short report without really doing their due diligence, and they lose credibility, that's the part that probably gets me, because like a reasonable investor will see it regardless of whether they want the company to succeed or fall down. They're going to have a unbiased opinion. So
yeah, no, I agree with that. And so like the distribution of a short report is interesting. Hindenburg, they obviously went short Square. They're getting destroyed on that short, and they made a whole hoopla about it. And it seems like there's really nothing there at all, especially if you read the report. And for them, they're playing with bigger money, right? They don't care about $100 paywall. They really want the stock to go down. Let me ask you this question. They said Palantir is a glorified consulting firm. Any truth to that from your perspective, or you think that part's just a little?
I think
don't know if there's any juice.
That's always been the argument with it, right? With regards to Palantir, that's been an argument since day one, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah,
especially because their product requires FDEs and forward deployed engineers and all that stuff. So until they get that part like completely out of the way, then yeah, I mean that's one of those things that you'll just have to face up to. Other software companies, they just send you a box with all the software and say, here you go, load it on, here's the instructions, call it a day. So you can't really accuse them of a consulting company, because they're literally just selling you a product.
Right.
Palantir is like, we'll sell you a product, but you also need our guys to help you implement it, otherwise it won't be successful. So that is probably what like makes people think it's a consultancy, but the margins that they're getting are not consultancy margins. That's the biggest argument against the consultancy thing. So
yeah. Shout out to Michael Yu. My real answer to the short people is ask the Russians. Alice Karp earlier today on Bloomberg. Thank you for the $20 super chat. That was a great interview. I'll be talking about it tomorrow, but that was awesome. Troy Moore, people will spend more money for a stupid attention grifts, which is what I think this is. I think he knows he released it on the day of the biggest conference of the year for Palantir. So I think he realized the attention is so high. Let me capitalize off some of the people that are just annoyed by Palantir, and he's probably made some money off of it. Emmanuel, thank you for the $5 super chat as well. Okay. So, cool. Let's get into some of the macro stuff. You said yesterday you wanted to talk about macro. Are there any things you're looking at that are making you particularly bearish or bullish on the state of the economy right now? Things they think the audience should really pay attention to?
I mean, short term, we're a little bit toppy. Like it feels like that, but
You think we're in the greed index instead of
I'm
fear
looking
right
at
now?
that. I'm looking at that right now, and I'm seeing like, hey, there's been a lot of run-ups, especially with big tech. Like where is the next shoe dropping? Like that's the question that I have. Like, and I think a lot of it is going to rely on the Fed and how they react, how they do their thing with
Well,
the
so the Wall Street Journal came out
rates.
yesterday and said the Fed is thinking of skipping the hike in June and doing it in July.
Yeah.
Do you think have you lived through before the Fed saying we're going to skip 1 month and wait?
I
Because
don't think I've ever really seen that, to be
because
honest with
apparently it's a common thing. That was what the article was saying, but I haven't seen it. If July CPI comes in hot, then maybe the skip is justified because then they won't have to continue to raise it in July.
you. Mean the other way? You mean the other way around, right? If it
If the
comes
June
in,
CPI, sorry, comes in good. Yeah, comes in not hot.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. So you know what? All I can do is just act upon the market, what it looks like right now. The market's a little, like I said, the market feels a little toppy. We're above the 125-day moving average, as you can see, which is a greedy sign. You scroll down, you can see that there's a lot more call buying in the market than a little bit further down. There you go. You see a lot more call buying, call to put ratio. So you're seeing a lot more calls being bought rather than puts. So like I said, there's just a lot of happiness around, and whenever there's too many happy people, you kind of want to put on the contrarian hat and just take a step back and say, hey, you know what, maybe I'm gonna go into some more value plays, because that's what I've been doing. I've been taking my growth areas where I've made money, shifting a little bit out of growth and into value, so that this way I know that they're not going to be impacted nearly as much. Not to say that they wouldn't be impacted. It's just not as much. So right now I'm overweight financials, as you know.
I do. I've seen some
Yeah.
screenshots.
And you're fucking overweight financials too now. So just admit it.
Bro, I'm so overweight financials, but it's cool
Yeah,
because
because of gains. Because of gains. So here's the key difference between being overweight on something just to be. Amit is overweight on financials because he's been doing really well on his gains, and I think that's something to keep in mind. There is a misconception that I do want to address eventually, but maybe when Carlos and Vitaly are back online, we can talk about it.
Okay. Let's go to this one. I want to watch this video. Meta has introduced Meta Quest 3. It's a 1-minute video. Let's see what Zucks has got cooking up, and then we'll talk about it.
Bump it up another level, like only you can do. Switch it up. Hey, hey. Switch it up. Switch it up, back. Switch it up, back. Switch it up, back. Switch it up. Switch it up, back. Switch it up, back. Switch it up, back. Switch it up. Switch it up, back. Switch it up, back. Make it move. Go ahead. Switch it up. What you gonna do with the power? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with the power? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do? What you gonna do with the power? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with the power? You gon' go ahead. Switch it up. Switch it up. Switch it up. Switch it up.
We're probably gonna get demonetized, right? Whatever song that was, that this stream has just been demonetized.
Damn.
Congrats, welcome. It wasn't me this time.
It wasn't you this time. Damn. All right, that's I forgot there was music there. Yeah, I forgot Facebook probably licensed that fucking music. All right, well, overall, Quest 3. I'm not gonna lie, that shit looked kind of sus. Like it just looked kind of boring to me. I feel like whatever Apple is gonna introduce is gonna be way more of an exciting intro video. Did you get excited by that? Or are you thinking like, hey, maybe I want to buy this? What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know, man. Like I really don't.
Like, it looked kind of lame, bro. It
looks like the last generation,
Vitaly,
like,
even he says it looks sus. It looks like the last generation, right?
It can't, yeah. Without trying it, I can't really tell. I'm sorry. Like, there's doesn't seem anything new that the Quest Pro, I think, which is what the last one was that had like the advanced features had, so I don't know, just the only thing is the cost is like $500. I want to see what kind of games come out for it. I also want to see like, does it give you headaches? So I'm probably not going to get it, to be honest with you. I don't see the reason for it. On the other hand, the Apple one, I may get that only because I actually want to do research, because I may actually just buy Apple.
You're gonna spend $3,000 to do research.
I mean, bro, I've had a
You
good
can
year.
just go to
Why
the
not
Apple
treat
store
myself?
and play with it. Like,
Nah, you can't really do that. You need to have it with you for, like, Apple doesn't make shitty products either. So I'm pretty sure I could probably resell it if necessary, So
that's probably true.
maybe that's what I'll do. So if I buy it, I'll use it, I'll do a review on it, I'll show you guys what it looks like. And then maybe if I don't like it or I don't need it, I'll sell it. And maybe it becomes like the daily driver on certain things for me. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna return it. I'm not gonna do that.
Bro, they must be so mad when people come back like, hey, it's been 2
Here's
weeks.
a $3,000.
Give
Yeah.
me my $3,000 back. Yeah, I mean, look, I still have not used an Oculus, and it's been out for like 7-8 years now. I don't know, it just doesn't excite me. Like, this phone has so much in it. Like, I can go into so many worlds playing with, whatever app, YouTube. There's so much stuff. Like, the idea that I need to wear a headset to immerse myself in it, and that's been my bear case about this. I just don't see how that scales. That
Well, here's the thing. I'm no longer a big gamer. Like, I don't play games as much anymore. Like, and I tried getting back into gaming to, like, at least just clear my brain. Like, sometimes you just want to do something that's like doesn't require this constant busyness in your head. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get back into gaming. And I all but lasted maybe an hour until I was just like, this is not for me. Like, I can't get back into it. But when I was a kid, though, dude, you couldn't get me to stop playing games. I used to love playing games. So, if this product is specifically only for games, then it may not be right for me. But if it's something that lets me be more productive in doing things, like augmented reality wise, yeah, I might get it, like, and use it. Like, here's an example. At work, I have a triple monitor setup. If I can integrate it with my PC and have a triple monitor setup with, like, maybe, like 42-inch screen here, 42-inch there, 42, and I could be more productive while just putting the headset on, and it doesn't feel super, like, heavy on my head, and I could be in it for a while. This is great. I could use it for work. When I'm traveling, like, sometimes I'll be at a hotel room with my wife and I want to use it, and I want to use, like, a nice triple monitor setup. And maybe this is one of those things. I just got to post on my head, and there you go. Now I got a great setup. So like I said, I have to see the functionality. That would be awesome.
Damn, Mike has a triple monitor work from home setup. I have a laptop and a computer, but I don't have a decked out setup yet. I need to get.
I have a Samsung M7, which is like this giant computer screen / TV. And this is what I need for work. But then there are times where I'm doing, like, multitasking with, like, stuff that it'd be nice to have a second and third screen like I do at work. But yeah, I don't have the room in my office to put another couple of screens. So probably not going to go that route. My one screen is fine.
Yeah. Okay, I want to transition to this. This is a stock we've talked about a lot from a comparison perspective, but I don't think we've ever kind of analyzed a little bit more deeper. Salesforce smashed earnings, 8.25 billion versus 8.18 billion expected, 169 per share versus 161. It did drop 7% in extended trading hours, but in terms of the macro, it did a pretty decent job. Any thoughts, Chris, on this stock, and would you ever be a buyer or long of Mark Benioff's company? For those that don't know, it's customer relationship management software. That's kind of their bread and butter.
CRM software. Yeah, everyone's got CRM. I feel like every time I see this company, I'm just like, man, it's a little overvalued. They pay too much to their employees. Like, I look at their numbers and it's just like, I'm not a big fan of that. But it's always steady growth, man. Steady growth with these guys. Like, if you look at their history, it's just nice, steady growth until recently, until they got their butt handed to them a little bit. But Benioff is taking the road, the necessary steps in order to correct for it. So basically, they hired a lot of people. They weren't getting as much productivity out of it, and their numbers were starting to fall off. So Benioff made an executive decision and said, hey, we need to start chopping heads. And so he did, even though he's been one of the biggest proponents of this whole, like, concept at work of Ohana. Have you heard that? Like, for family and also.
Yep.
So it's this whole thing about, like, everyone, we're in this together and blah, blah, blah. And then, and then he comes off like, I think a year later and just like, hey, listen, you're family, but I don't need you right now. So have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
That's what you need. That's what you need. As a CEO, you got to be ruthless. Were you pacing around, Carlos, to keep up with our competition?
Yeah. Said what?
I only stopped because my fucking battery on my watch. I forgot to charge it yesterday.
Likely story. That's so convenient. It does.
That's the only reason. I was just charging
50 calories in, bro. No,
I wasn't 50. Bro, I'm like 400 something in right now. Okay, and I did my workout ring twice over. Okay, so I did an hour and a half.
Well, you're saying you lapped me.
I did lap you. I just.
What's up, Austin? What's up, Jorge? What's up, me now? Me now.
You know what it is? You've got a damn standing desk. You've got a damn standing desk. That's what's key. Like this fucking blue ring. It says I have to stand for 12 hours. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not standing for 12
First of all,
hours.
I don't have a standing desk. I don't. I was pacing around. I always pace when I'm on the phone. It's just like a thing that I've done. And
were you in a serious conversation?
Yeah, I was on with my producer. There's stuff going on at work, and I couldn't get off the call. But sometimes I just pace around because it's a good chance to get some calories in. Like I'll be on the call sometimes and it'll say exercise ring closed. Like while I'm just walking around, I'll do like 2.5 miles sometimes.
Okay. Almonte's is working his butt off right now, keeping up with this competition. And
bro, I went hard today at the gym. I went hard.
I know. I saw.
I didn't want to go. Honestly, I didn't want to go. And if we didn't have this stupid competition, I'd be like, maybe I'll skip a day. But I was like, no, man.
Did you go in the morning or in the middle of the day?
I went in the middle of the day because I went to bed late, so I went a little bit later. But I just went heavy. Just went heavy. Thank you, Anita.
They said my bet is on Carlos. Damn, Chris, they're betting against you. I don't think you can do
that's
it.
That's one bet they'll probably win.
Well, you will win. You will win on cardio. You will win on the calories. I promise you will win on the calories. But I'm not trying that. I have like different metrics, right? I want to get back swole like I was. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife's not with me because of my personality. Let's be honest.
My goal right now is just to lose a lot of the weight around my stomach, the visceral weight that's there. So what I'm doing is a lot more cardio, but it's not intensive cardio. So if you do like super intensive cardio, you'll burn muscle as well. But if you stick to like a low heart rate cardio for a long period of time, you'll do fat burning. So right now I'm just trying to burn as much fat as I can. And even today I was just like, and my wife was like, hey, I got you kava. And I'm like, yes, good. It's healthy food.
Right. You know what I noticed works for that, for like the belly fat, is honestly just drinking nothing but water. Just don't drink sugar. Don't drink Snapple. Don't drink, that's it. Just drink water. And then obviously your cardio, but just honestly, just drinking freaking water will get rid of that stuff.
Yep.
Do you guys know what currency that is from Janadi?
No,
no idea. It's not dollars.
That looks like Chris Patel's icon on Twitter. It's the fucking
you guys know it's a K and a P. Like
no, I know. Yeah. I thought it was that cake, that Chris Crypto. You know, he's gonna launch a crypto soon.
Thank you, Janati, for the super chat. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Yeah, it is.
Thanks, man.
It looks like
check this out. So this is actually what I do. It's called Hit, and this is the only guy I watch. He has all these different videos.
Whoa, this
right. He's
guy.
Hot. He's hot.
So, my wife is trying to get me to do Hit. I can't do it, man.
It's actually amazing. Oh my god, I feel so much better doing it. And but he has these 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, whatever you feel like doing. And after I do his thing and like I'm sweating balls, I go straight to the cardio running for another like 15 minutes or so, and it's just amazing.
How often do you work out, Vitaly? Every day?
maximum twice a week at this point.
Bro,
it's kind of hard when you're doing 16-hour days, man. Really hard.
Vitaly, do you have an Apple Watch?
No, my kid does. My kid does.
Steal the Apple Watch from the kid and get in on this competition.
That's right.
What's the competition?
The competition
challenge. Yeah.
All right, you could take off this hot dude because we don't look like him. So.
Is the competition?
I was close to that. Listen, I was close to that. I promise you. I'll show you that.
I don't know that dude. That guy's ripped, bro. Everywhere.
You saw the photo in the WhatsApp, dude. That was me when I landed in LA, working out like a monster.
We got to share that photo one day, bro.
I had a personal trainer, and I was on Tinder. I was trying to find a wife. Like, you kidding me?
Carlos. I know you probably get this right now, but you remember when you had that and you would just walk and people would be like looking at you kind of like especially girls, they'd be like giving you that look like
Bro, you know what it's like I felt a little bit of what I think it feels like to be a hot chick.
Yes.
Like everyone's just nicer to you. When you're a hot chick, everyone's just nice to you. Okay.
Dude, when you're a hot girl, when you're a hot guy, it's like that too, man. All the girls, like they don't.
I know from experience.
Yeah. He's like, welcome to my life. Amit.
This is literally what I do.
You know what I noticed too? It's like I find that like girls want to touch guys as much as they want to, as guys might want to touch them. And when you're ripped, they'll find an excuse to like touch your shoulder or like grab your arm or like poke you in the chest. I'm like,
bro, really I remember the first time in 6th grade, like I went in for a hug for a girl. I swear I thought I lost my virginity that day. Like when I hugged a girl, I was bragging about it with my friends. Like I thought I was the shit.
What was it? What was it?
What was that wetness you felt?
Point to the doll. Point to the doll where you got soaked.
It was cool though, bro. I was just like, damn, yeah, we hugged last night, and they were like, you hugged? I was like, yeah, bro. And so it was cool. Wait, so you were on Tinder? Did you think you would find a wife on Tinder? How did you?
Well, no. When I first got here, no, I wasn't looking for a wife. I wanted to. So I play the field. And actually part of my plan with using that was it was a way of learning different parts of LA. I would find certain restaurants or like bars and stuff that I wanted to check out. And I'd make sure I would have like first dates with chicks during the week. So I could just go and explore a new neighborhood. And then when I eventually would find a girlfriend, then I would, revisit some of the better places on a Friday, Saturday date. So it was a way of getting to explore LA a bit.
And okay, so I'm curious about this. When you were using this to explore LA, are you comfortable explaining what was your hit rate in terms of how many swipes led to dates on Tinder? Or was it really hard for you? Because for guys,
you can't really quantify that. But I had I made a separate calendar on Google that was just for the dates, and I would
wait. Hold on, you had a separate calendar just for dates?
Yeah.
Damn,
and so what I would do is I would do like maybe up to 3 dates per week, but they were all first dates, and they'd always be on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Friday and Saturday were reserved for either second or third dates with people that I had a good time with. And so I would just have the schedule. Just put
what Carlos just
ABC, always be closing.
Yo, I read that. That was that's the game.
What Carlos, the advice that Carlos just gave without letting out the secret, always, and this goes to all the guys out there. I'm gonna turn this into the Fresh and Fit pod in about 2 seconds.
No, 2 seconds.
My biggest mistake in the past when it comes to dating was that I would date one girl at a time, and that is stupid.
Inefficient.
Do not do that. Date 3. I'd say at least 3, because this way what happens is you have enough of options not to seem desperate to that one girl that likes you or that. So, like there's this thing with guys, like we always feel like, oh, do I text her? Do I not text her? Is it too soon? Is it not too soon? Dude, most of the time I was too busy scheduling a second date with another girl and then another one and then another one to ever like feel like I need it. And then one of them would be like, hey, I don't think this will work out. Okay, great. I felt the same way. And they're like, wait, what do you mean? Like you could just end it? Yeah. There is a different energy that you carry when you have options.
You're saying there's a different fundamental paradigm that archetypes the
God, there you go.
I'm gonna reach through here and strangle the damn carp out of you, bro.
There's an archetypal narrative.
Palantir foundry for dating, apparently. Over here.
Right.
This is a good idea, though. I've never. Well, V, you were gonna say something. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. You guys talk about dating.
I've never.
He's like I've been married. He's like I've been married for
40 years.
For 400 years.
In high school and college, I would talk to like 3 or 4 girls at a time. But when you're trying to date, like Carlos, because my sister is 29, right? So she's getting really interested in like.
I'm not interested. I'm already married. So
no, okay, all right. Anyway, she's. Could you imagine if you were my brother-in-law, bro? That would be crazy.
That'd be great for you, bro.
That'd be great for you. Fine end phase all day.
I still remember the first time I got friend zoned, I felt bad. And then there was another time where this girl was like, hey, maybe we should just be friends. And I was like, nah, I'm not really
in the friend zone after you sleep with them.
No. But the second time that happened to me, I was just like, nah, I'm not really looking for any more friends. I'm good. Like, this was a great night. Have a great day. The next day she called me and she was like, hey, do you want to maybe try that again? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Because the thing is, like, if you seem like the guy that, they just like, you're too comfortable with them, there's this weird energy that they feel that this guy is just too easy. And then they I don't know, they're just something that triggers in their brain, man. So,
well, yeah, it's basically if you are sexless, remember that, Amit? be excellent, be sexless, and
I don't
leave.
know anything about being sexless.
Hold on. If you are sexless and you don't show them as much attention, what Chris is saying is actually true. There's a book called The Game. I think Carlos said he mentioned it, that goes over some rules of men getting women.
Yeah.
And look, some of it does apply. Some of it actually works. If you are sort of sexless and you're not pursuing as hard as some men pursue, then they're going to want to pursue you.
Well, the other thing was I would notice when some of my friends, because look, I moved here and I didn't know anybody. And there's people that I met that had been here forever, and they kind of felt like the dating scene had dried up, and they would say, how are you getting so many dates? Or like, what do I do? Like with this girl or that girl I met online, and to Chris's point, a lot of those guys that spend a lot of time being like, what do I write this girl, whatever, you're just not busy enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Like if you're just busy and like you're focusing on yourself, if you're in the gym at 10 o'clock at night, guess what? You don't have time to be texting these girls. You don't have time to even be thinking about it. You're actually going to be living the life you're trying to pretend. And when it's
read it, peacocking. You read it.
Peacocking is about having something about you that stands out, that gives a girl that would want to talk to you something to open with, something to approach you about, some item or something about you, like a funny hat or whatever it is, so that this way they don't feel creepy. And it does work. I mean, it absolutely does work. That's how it works in nature, and we're no different.
The best advice I could give to anyone for dating, just first start at the gym. Just go to the gym. Start working out. Improve yourself. Improve your body.
Because
once you get that,
there you go.
Once you get that in your brain, because it's all about mentality. And the minute that you feel like you're the superstar, when a girl comes up to you, she doesn't feel like a 10. Like even if she is a 10, she feels like whatever she is. And that's it.
Women in general are just much better at reading congruency, right? The image that the person presents versus what they are in real life. Just biologically and evolutionary, they've had to do that because the consequences for them getting it wrong are usually more dire than that for a man. So if you are in the gym all the time, even if you're, however you try to present yourself, if you are a clean man, you have good hygiene, you take care of yourself, and you go to the gym, it qualifies you in a way to that woman where they know you couldn't have faked that. Right. If you've got a nice body as a man, you can't fake that. You can't cram for that the week before.
Yeah.
That shows discipline. It shows determination. It shows
self-worth.
If you have good, nice fitting clothes, it shows that you care about how you look. If you have nice groomed nails, right, it shows that you care, like clean cut. Like just those basic things are like, wow, this guy takes care of himself and he's a man.
Girls will date a broke dude that looks good. They won't marry you. They won't marry you if you don't have money. Like, let me just be straight with that. They'll date you. They'll date you until you make it. Like, they're willing to put some skin in the game to like get you there, to build you up. But I personally think if you have the physical part, that's like the hardest part. The investing side, which is what we're going to talk about after this, because we kind of deviate a little bit.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
That helps too. But don't lead off. Don't lead off with like, hey, my name's blah, 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 and here's my Robinhood account. Look at what I made in Palantir gains this week.
I'm going to show that to a girl I made at a bar. I went up to a girl at a bar once, and I was like, do you know what Palantir is? She's like, oh, it's that weird company by Peter Thiel. I was just like, well, we're not.
Here's the thing.
I ain't talking to you anymore.
If that actually happened and you went to a girl and asked her what Palantir was, and she even said that, that's really
impressive. She knows what Palantir is.
She knows what Palantir is. And Amit did the face palm.
He's like, you didn't go there.
Bro, if when I do get a girl, if she's like interested in Palantir, I want to call her like my Palantir girl. Like Palantir girlfriend, Palantir boyfriend. Like it'd be so cool. Imagine if she worked at Palantir and she was like,
listen, you can't have both of you broke when you're 40.
Yeah, die alone, bro.
Yeah, y'all saw that AFP conference today. We're not gonna be broke at 40.
Actually, you started the podcast with everything I love: Palantir hate and phase. Okay.
I'm putting the StreamYard link in the chat a little bit early so we can get people queued up. Today's Thursday. This is the last day of the work week for us, and then Sunday we start again. Thank you for 500 people here.
Oh shit, we have 500 people. How's everybody's week?
How's everybody's week? This is the fourth day, I think, with 500, which is awesome. So let's get a lot of people in the back. We'll do about 3, 4, 5 people. We'll take your questions, and we'll go from there.
Well, let me look at what the title of this video said to make sure. It says Palantir short report and is the economy getting worse. I think you guys already discussed that, right?
We talked about the short report.
Wasn't it like getting better yesterday when you were talking about it? So
amidst that YouTube
it's YouTube clickbait, guys.
That's actually not clickbait. It's because the Fed said they're going to pause but hike in July or June.
Yeah.
July. So
So
that's
the market
kind of
rallied.
The market's not.
No,
the
no, wait,
market's
wait,
actually
wait.
down
I thought he
today.
said
It didn't rally. I saw
No.
everything green today. Everything.
No,
Well,
SoFi
yeah,
dropped.
a lot of
Palantir
it
dropped.
I don't know. My portfolio is pretty green. Let me check. Let me check one more
Mine-
time.
Well,
Mine
you've got
too.
Enphase that ran up. Well, okay, so Vitaly, why is Enphase up right now from 159?
We
to
talked about it. In
170?
fact, we were talking about it yesterday. Remember when the RSI is junk and we're way into the 200-day? Enphase has a tendency to bounce. It's a great trade when it's like, and it did. It hit a 155 or so, which the RSA was around 30. RSI was around 30. And we're way under the 200-day. So like those technicals for Enphase seem to play out really well in terms of any bounce. It doesn't mean it'll last, but it really does seem to work over the last couple of years.
By the way, that's hysterical. Asian Town ripped from holding these bags. Like Amit, you should be shredded from holding those Palantir bags. That's good. That's good.
I thought SoFi was up earlier. Was I wrong?
Um,
They got to
I-
7, but they came back down.
I want to just say congrats to everyone who had the TFC position when you guys did. We got a nice little dividend
Wow.
today. That was nice. Can you share the screen? Because there's
Yeah.
one misconception that I could just want to address really quickly.
Oh, Unity
So-
is at 30 now. When we were talking about
Yeah.
it, I think it was lower, a lot
Mhm.
lower.
So with comes to dividends, right? A lot of times people think like they look at the yield and the yield went up and people think, oh my God, this company is like trying to entice people to buy their stock. So if you look at this, someone said, I don't like dividends, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, that's fine that you don't like the dividends, but this is an actually undervalued company.
I hate
So
dividends. Who says
you're
this?
also going to get capital appreciation from the stock going higher as well. So even though we bought it at 27, the dividend has no impact on that whatsoever. This company provides a dividend to its shareholders and it pays pretty consistently. So that's what I was trying to explain. And then this person said most of them increase their dividends when stocks go down to attract investors, then lower the dividend once the stock goes down. And that's totally wrong. That's not how it works. The company makes a certain profit. A certain part of that profit gets returned to shareholders in the form of dividends. And usually, as the company grows, the dividend grows along with it. So what I was trying to show to these people was, listen, like Truist, when it was trading at $60, it was paying a 48-cent dividend. When it's trading at a $27 stock, it's still paying a dividend that's still below. So the last year when they were $60, they still paid a 52-cent dividend because that is in their plan. They didn't just artificially lower it because it was at a higher price. So then I guess the person here is like, aren't you proving his point? I had to explain like, no, he's not. I'm not proving.
Chris, can you go to your profile and show us your other tweet about TFC dividends?
No,
Or
we're
do
not
I
gonna
need to
go
share
there.
that? Do I need
No,
to
we're
share
not
that?
gonna. No, we're not gonna share that. We're not gonna-
He puts it on publicly, but
No,
let's just
no,
say
I don't want to.
there's a lot of money.
I don't want to justify it. No, I'm good. No,
If you
it's
guys
good.
are curious, go to Chris
I-
Patel's Twitter and you can.
I have a
check
good.
out-
I have a good position in TFC, so I have skin in the game.
Do you still
but-
think it's worth buying even now?
Yeah,
I think you bought it. You bought it at $27, correct?
Well,
Yeah,
45 is the promised land.
Well, I think his
45.
spreads were. I keep looking at the spreads, and the spreads are just a little bit too expensive. It's like $6.
Damn,
yeah.
they were like 3 and change. They started at 3 and change when it was.
Amit's celebrating every day. I know because
Right.
he's just.
Well, the way Amit
but
works
let's
is he's not going
talk
to take his
about that. Let's
profits.
not
He's going to
talk-
think it's
let's
going to
not
go
talk
higher.
about Let's not talk about this.
Hold
all right?
on,
'Cause
hold
I
on. I'm
really-
saying
yeah.
the way Amit works is that he's gonna hit 45. He's gonna think it's going to 80. Okay,
No.
and
Well,
it's
first of
going
all,
back to 30.
Already, you're wrong. That's not how a spread works.
Yeah,
You
shh,
can't
No,
make
I know.
more
Amit,
profit.
stop. I don't want, like I said, let's keep that between us. Like I said, I don't want people to follow us into some trades because they are risky beyond what
That's true. This is
normal
very
retail
risky. This is
investors
very risky.
should be doing. So even though there's outsized gains, there's a lot of risk associated with it also. So just don't follow us into these things. Like just chill.
But you should look at Truist because Truist is undervalued.
Yeah,
Still,
Truist, the stock itself is still very undervalued.
Are you still buying the stock? Well, that's the question. Are you still just buying the
Yeah,
stock?
yeah. I just dripped it. I just took my dividends, reinvested it right
Oh,
back
look at
into
this,
it
right
again.
back into Truist, and not something
Yeah.
else. Okay,
No.
this
Right
guy's
now,
bullish.
I was telling you guys, I'm shifting my portfolio into more value businesses rather than growth right now. I think growth is a little bit sus right now. So a lot of like things have run up, and so the expectations are also there. Like I wrote something interesting about CrowdStrike. Like CrowdStrike really did really well in terms of their earnings, but the expectations were too high, and so the market came and swatted it back down. I think that's the thing that scares the shit out of me right now. So
All right, we got some people in the back. Let's get to them. Blake, you are up first. Blake's Finance. Hello, sir. How are you?
What's up?
Hi there.
I'm good.
Where are you calling from? But me and Blake know each other. He's been a subscriber.
And what are you sitting in front of that you have all these? What is
You have all this light on you.
It's
It's
weird.
window shades.
My bad.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Are you in college right now, Blake, or you're at home?
I am, yeah. Going into my senior year next year.
Okay, and
Oh,
what are you
nice.
studying?
Finance and economics.
How old
What
are
are you
you?
trying to do after?
21.
Can you switch him?
Thinking financial advising, but I'm not sure. Hate that 1% fee. So
Okay, cool. What's your question?
yeah, I was just wondering, how do you guys find these stocks? Like, I love, I'll research a bunch of stuff, but I don't think I'd ever have found Truist and like looked into something like that. So just things like that in general. How do you guys go about just broadly finding them?
Well, Chris
I'm
can
sure
talk
that
about
these-
Truist.
yeah.
So I'll talk about at least stocks like Enovix and Enphase. Those are different types of stocks.
Okay, we'll
So
do Chris
for-
and Vitaly. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was just gonna say I think everyone's got their own methodology to finding these things, but for me, I try to look for things that have fallen down, but I look at the industry itself. Like I want to see if an industry has fallen down together, because that means that what happens is there might be companies within that industry that are being overlooked by a lot of investors, and they're just dumping because they're dumping the entire index, right? So right now everyone's like, oh my god, regional banks are failing, let's all sell all the regional banks no matter what. Like, and so everyone sold off their regional banks. So I said, okay, well, among the regional banks, there's still going to be some that stick around afterward. Like there's no way that there's this industry is just completely going to die out. So that's when I did more research and I said, okay, which companies do I know? And then I started looking at the balance sheets. I started looking at, their track record. Like, what are some of the reasons why this company is so undervalued? And Truist is the one that really stood out because I was like, wait a second, this is not just a small regional bank. This is a super regional. They have a large portion of the southern southeast market. And so I started to build my thesis after that. So I would say for me, when I look at a company, I try to find an industry that has fallen out of favor and then finding companies in that specific industry that don't deserve to be in that same category as the rest of these guys. And yeah, and then after that, it's just building your thesis and then waiting for the market to get back to where it's supposed to be. At least for my value plays. I have a different methodology for my growth plays, but we could talk about that another time. I think Vitaly's next.
Well, I just want to say I've talked about Enphase a number of times, but the way I do these stocks, just like Tesla, and me and Carlos were talking about Tesla before I believe we really started investing heavily into it, is because we buy things that we're interested in as well. So it's something that I'm willing to do research on an almost daily basis without someone forcing me to. Like if someone forced me to do research on Truist, I would never want to do that research. I would just be bored to tears, even if it's a good stock. So it has to be something that I'm already interested in. And energy and solar and all the renewables, that was just something I've always been interested in. And that's how I learned about these companies. By putting solar on my roof and researching what companies were there, I just don't mind looking into it. So I think that's an easy way to get into it, as opposed to trying to force yourself to look at the whole market. You're in the financial business. I guess you're going to be on Wall Street one day. Congratulations. So you're going to be richer than all of us. But then you will be looking at everything. I personally like to focus on just a certain sector, certain number of stocks.
The home run stocks that I had early on was, like these guys are saying, investing in what I knew. At the time, say like in early 2000, I was starting a business and we were buying a lot of Apple products. I mean, we were spending thousands a month. Started saying, well, why aren't we looking at the stock here? If I'm doing this, how many other people are doing this? I was always reading up on Apple News. I kind of had an idea of where they were going as a company. Well, then if I'm so bullish on them in my life, maybe we should start investing in them. Another home run that I had a good run on was like Sirius satellite radio. I was a big Howard Stern fan. They had announced that he was moving over to Sirius. I was like, well, maybe this is going to be good for them.
You how much did you make on Sirius? That was a 2-3x for you?
This was, it was about a 3x, but I didn't have too much money back then, but I might've made, maybe 5 or 10 grand on it at the time. But then again, I would roll those profits over into other companies. But, speaking to the Enphase Solar Edge thing, at the time, there was only 2 companies. It was Sirius and XM, the satellite radio. So I bought them both. Right. And then guess what happened? XM acquired
They
Sirius.
merged.
And right. And so same deal. I didn't lose that one. Another one that was a huge play for me was a company called Regeneron. And you heard a lot about them during the pandemic, but I was buying them at like $3. Why? Because a friend of mine was in medical school and his teacher happened to work at Regeneron at a certain point and was talking about their cancer research drugs and blah, blah, blah. So I started looking into that company, put a little bit of money in there. And that one went from $4 to $400 in like 2 years. So now I didn't hit everything. Like I invested in a company called I think it was PANL, Universal Display Corp, that was trying to make the bent OLED screens. But this is in 2000. Technology hadn't gotten where it was yet. That was my SPAC play. But it was all things that I felt comfortable because I was happy researching the companies. You know, to Vitaly's point, like I'm not the bank guy. Like I don't want to be looking at bank balance sheets. It's going to be hard for me to invest any substantial amount of money because I'm not interested in it. And I also don't know it. Like look at your circle of friends. What do your circle of friends know about? Like if you know someone who's in a specific industry that can tell you something that's happening before maybe it hits the market, that gives you an advantage. You know what I'm saying?
I like Peter Lynch's thing. He actually says that, you know, look around your own, he says not circle of friends, but your own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is around you that you have a unique ability to know about where Wall Street doesn't, basically? So that's what you have to look at, honestly. So I'm sure you have a father who does something, a mother who does something, that there's something around you that is unique to you that you can find that also has a company behind it that is doing well in some industry. So anyway, I think those are good points by all of us.
Look, same with Netflix. Netflix, when they came out with that DVD thing, I thought that was awesome. I was like, and I was getting DVDs every day. I'm like, why don't I buy this company? So I bought a couple of shares in it. That was a 4,000% return in my portfolio. If I would have put more money in that, I'd be retired right now. Facebook, when Facebook was going to IPO, I was like, dude, this was at the time when everyone's like, get off MySpace, get off this, get on Facebook. And it kind of became like, you just had to have a Facebook. And I told everybody that day at work, I was like, I'm stopping for when that market opens. I've got to get my shares. And I put $5,000 into Facebook at the IPO. And I was pissed because I got it at 35. And I think people were getting it cheaper. But that's what it comes down to.
When did you sell it? What,
when did I sell from that? I definitely made good money on it. I don't remember now because I don't have that portfolio anymore. Unfortunately,
the one company that's going to give us those kinds of returns, and maybe Blake, ARM.
Oh, when
every goddamn piece of thing around your place has an ARM chip in it. Like whether it's a VR headset, whether it's a phone, whether it's a computer.
You don't know what it's coming out. You don't know what the
this
market
year,
cap will be.
This year in December.
No, you don't know what the market cap will
50
be.
billion, probably 50 billion.
We're never going to get it for 50 billion.
I know we won't get it. We won't get it.
Maybe you will, Chris.
No. There's a way to backdoor into it. The back door is by
I only know one way to backdoor into anything.
No. The one way is buying.
I knew he was going there.
No. The way is it's buying SoftBank. SoftBank owns ARM. They bought it from Nvidia they bought it before for I think like 40 billion, and then not 40 billion, maybe a little less than 40 billion, I think 30 billion or something. And then Nvidia in the year 2020 wanted to buy them for 40 billion. It's gone up since then, but here's the thing. It's all in SoftBank. I'm doing research on SoftBank right now to see what assets does it have, because if the IPO comes out at, let's say, 50 billion and it shoots up to 80 billion, SoftBank shares will jump up at the same exact time because they wholly own ARM. They're not going to put every single share out there. They're only going to put out maybe 10% of their total ownership. The rest, they'll unload slowly. But here's the thing. If you're a shareholder of SoftBank, you're going to go to the moon. So just saying, there is a way to backdoor into it. But
if you were holding SoftBank when they bought WeWork or invested in WeWork, your shit was not going to the moon. So they've had some losses, but ARM is a big one for them.
That's believe it or not, the thing that always scares me with the Vision Fund. They've taken a huge amount of losses over the last
Uber. They lost a shit ton of money on Uber as well.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Blake. We got to move on to this one. Appreciate you. See you on the next one. All right, we got King Cash. What's up, bro?
Hey, gentlemen. Happy Friday Eve.
Cheers. Happy Thursday.
It's like it's Friday.
It's almost Friday.
He's like, when you're retired like me, every day's Friday.
No, I wish I was retired. I got to get up to your guys' level. But hey, I did something. A charger came in. I bought this little bad boy.
Rivian.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
It's coming in.
What a flex.
No, you guys. I'm trying to get up to your guys' level. You two up there, the EV, you got the Plaid, you got the Model Y Plaid. But I got a question. So I bought my first option, which was the Rivian. So I bought it. I'm up right now, but it's the only one that I know that's expiring in December 2025. Do y'all know any other ones that are just expiring in December? Because I know a lot are expiring.
Not every company does that. Yeah, I don't know how they decide that, but yes, a handful of companies have December 2025 options, which is crazy. And I've seen some of it, and I always try to go the longest I possibly can.
Yeah.
Is that a red flag if a company has?
No,
really...
no, not at all.
Well, some imagine.
I think it shows more liquidity in the company. In fact.
Well, just to be clear, what did you? I'm assuming you bought call options, right?
Yeah, call options. I bought I mean, this is my first option of the year, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just like, all right, let's
So
see.
what did you buy? Can you mind telling us?
Yeah. No, I don't mind. I think here, let me pull it up. Am I gonna lose y'all? I don't know if I'm gonna lose y'all. Put up on.
Or at least we can still hear you.
We hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Raised by
While you're there, while you're doing that, tell us which truck you bought. Did you buy the pickup or the SUV?
I bought the pickup.
Can't hear him.
Do you know what section 179 is?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I think your hand's a little bit on the mic as well, King Cat. If you could just.
Do you know what section 179 is?
Nope.
That's perfect. Okay, here you go.
179. What is that?
No.
Section 179.
You got to get a pair of these, buddy. Hard to hear you.
You guys can't hear me? Oh shit.
Like you're really low.
I think it's just your hand, bro. I think your hand keeps covering
Maybe.
the mic because we hear you a little bit, and then your hand.
He is drinking while listening to a pod.
Yeah, Cash, we can't hear you at all, but it's okay. If you have headphones, put them on. If not, like we just can't.
What's your strike price? Do you know what your strike price is?
Yeah, it's $2.05.
No. That's how much you're paying the premium. What's your strike price?
No.
$15?
No. It's $2.05. So
What?
I bought it like when the market was really down, when it was like when the shares
$10?
were like $11.
Oh, okay,
Why would
so
you buy? But why would you buy the $2 calls and pay so much premium on that?
Well, because when I bought it, it said December 2025, and I'm just like, all right, if I could just be, I mean, I'm positive on it right now. I'm like, if they could just,
I don't think you're gonna go negative for a while.
That means they have to get the $2. The bet is that they won't get the $2 by.
So my question is, what happens if it expires? Like, can I just buy the 100 shares, or like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can. You have the option to buy at any time. So even if you're down on the position, you can just say, "I want the 100 shares." The question is, why would you want to when you can get it cheaper in the market, in the open market? So, but I've had somebody do that. Because the options trade so much. I've had somebody actually sell me options. Like I was a put I sold, and they sold it to me for a worse price. So I got the premium and I got the better price, which was weird. I'm like, why didn't you give me these shares? But some people, I guess, all the trading.
It was me.
It was a mitt. It was probably a mitt.
And then I got another question for y'all. What do y'all feel about Uber?
I love Uber.
We've talked about Uber. Vitaly and Chris are super bullish on it.
Yeah.
Me and Carlos are not, to be honest. I think the valuation is ridiculous at $60 billion, but I do think they're a monopoly. I just don't know how they're going to grow into that valuation. I don't believe in this whole Uber Air bullshit and freight train stuff they're doing. But
I don't either.
Sure.
And I also think the amount of capex that they need to spend to like electrify their vehicles and get rid of their people, right, and make it like autonomous and all that it's easier for an autonomous company to offer their service than it is for them to get the autonomous part of it, which is where I think that business is going anyway. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I can't believe they made $8 billion in one quarter and they're like non-profitable. It's fucking crazy.
Now they're gonna get profitable soon, right? Like
yeah.
it's getting there, but it is insane, right?
It's insane. But like the reason why I'm bullish is like we got to. Personally, I think Uber gets destroyed by Tesla. That's cool, bro. Cheers.
Cool story, bro.
No, I mean, like,
you never know, man.
like,
Tesla might take these
No,
motherfuckers
Tesla
out.
could, but like
You guys
whenever
are funny.
I travel and I get on an Uber, I'm not getting in Uber Teslas. There's like Uber Camrys, Uber Corollas. You know,
You just want an Uber. That's the real thing. If that's what comes, you're happy, sure.
But the thing, the thing is, you just want Uber. It's so hard for Uber to control the quality of that. Like I've seen so many posts of people being like, "This Uber driver was the worst. They drove me like shit. The car was crap."
Have you ever been in a taxi?
All that stuff.
Sir?
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I have been in a taxi, but there's no one to complain to in a taxi. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, if it's the choice between a taxi and an Uber, it's 100% an Uber all the time.
Sure.
The reason why I like Uber, because we're talking about how everyone's traveling again, and like this is like everyone's, you're traveling, you get in an Uber whenever you land, all that stuff. But most importantly, we got a Middle Eastern running the company. I'm super bullish on Middle Eastern running a taxi business.
Hold on.
That's
It's
a
not
bit
just an
racist.
Uber. No, that's not just a
Yeah,
Middle Eastern.
the Indians
He's
are taking
Iranian.
over. The Middle
No.
Eastern.
He's
He is
Iranian.
Chris.
He's Iranian. No. Iranians, they know what to do, man. Iranians are good at business. I mean, I know that. I don't know if that's racist. Is that racist?
No,
I don't
Fucking
think that's
racist to say
racist.
that. I hope that's
It's
not
positive
racist.
Iranians
racism.
are great.
Everything's
Positive
racist these
racism.
days.
Yeah.
Hey man,
That's it.
y'all are great. Cheers. Thank you for everything. Happy Friday
Later.
Eve.
Happy
Later.
Friday Eve. Enjoy. I like that. Thursday is Friday Eve. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Enjoy, Cash. Thank you
Yep.
for being here.
It's
Maybe
time.
we should do a Friday because
Yeah,
me and
Friday.
Carlos sometimes do a drinking podcast on Fridays. I don't know, we haven't done it in a while, but maybe we should do a finance junkies
But
drinking
when do you get home?
like 10 o'clock.
Oh, I mean, if you get home, yeah, I'm down. I mean, look, I'm going to be sitting right here anyway.
I do a podcast about the two most innovative companies in the world every Friday. One is called SoFi. The other one is Palantir.
All right, so
it's
Chris,
a little-
maybe you want to join us for this drinking podcast.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, Adam.
So
last one of the night.
okay,
What's
so
up, man?
this is weird, guys. Do we not have any actual real viewers? Is everyone a bot? Because you cycled the same three people over and over.
I texted him, I'm like,
Okay,
you guys
I'm
are good
okay
for
with
tonight,
that,
right?
guys.
Yeah, Amit, are there other people there? Or you
Oh
just,
my God! Are
Yeah,
there,
going on too.
no
No,
offense,
there's-
Adam. We love you and we love your
Here's the
restaurant.
thing.
but
First of all, let me
what?
explain
Thanks,
this.
guys.
First of all,
guys.
thank you, Adam, for coming back because we appreciate people getting
I
on.
don't want to upset Vitaly, I mean.
No, Vitaly needs like the self-affirming affirmation that he has so much attention, even though he thinks it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's
You
why I
think-
bring
you
Bell
think
on
I need that?
5
You think I need attention? No.
No, I think everyone wants attention. It feels good to have attention. But the thing is, it is nerve-wracking for some people to get in front of 500 people. And so that's why there's not that many people in the world that would do
That's
it.
true. All right, Adam.
So-
So you have a question, or you just came to gloat about your good business?
Yeah. Well, I'm restaurant guy. Obviously, Vitaly likes to point that out. Okay, clearly. Chris, are you still looking in to Wingstop and First Watch? And I kind of wanted to shoot my restaurant knowledge at you and kind of come from like restaurant guy and kind of see what your thoughts were on it and where you were at still with it.
So here's the thing with Wingstop. Every time I look at Wingstop's valuation, I cry. Okay, because I can never, ever. I have to.
What was the
literally
revenue last
force
year?
this.
Do you know the revenue was?
Dude, they are just growing gangbusters. They are okay. So the way that I would best frame it is that these guys are just growing like crazy everywhere. Their top line is just crazy growth. Okay, but their PE at the same time is super high too. It's 100 PE. They're a profitable business. They have intention to go international. They are one of the fastest growing franchises in the country. The only thing is, I don't know how sustainable that is because there's a lot of places that are doing chicken now. So the thing is, like, what differentiates them versus, let's say, a Buffalo Wild Wings or a Wild Wings Cafe, or there's like so many. So that's the part that always gets me. So I would say, what is the unique IP that they have that just keeps bringing people to them? And yeah, just go from there. What do you think about that, Adam?
I think like my biggest worry would be like they're so heavily reliant on DoorDash, and I don't know if people actually know they take 30%. So like
DoorDash does. DoorDash does.
Yeah.
What
all
does
these
Uber take?
businesses, all of them. I talk with these guys every week. They try to get me. We don't actually do any delivery services because they want 30%. And
That's a lot.
But if you did, do you think it would increase the business overall, even with the 30%, or it's not worth it?
Absolutely not. It actually hurts business. So they'll mess up the orders. Like we've driven our remake to people because they thought it was our fault. Like DoorDash has no responsibility.
So the only thing that I would say, Adam, with that is that when you look at something like Wingstop, their margins in terms of cost are so low that they can afford to pay that 30% and still make a profit, right? So from a business standpoint, they're still making a shit ton of, like, you're in the food business. The ingredients, the product itself does not cost a lot, but the markup on it sometimes is almost 500%. Like like right now with your ramen noodles, right? It doesn't cost you more than a couple of dollars, especially if you're making a whole bunch of them to make that. But then when you sell it, you're selling for 18 to cover all the overhead and everything else. These guys, dude, they're taking a product that they've industrialized, bought at wholesale, and then produced it, and now they have unlimited amounts of demand. I think each store right now is doing about 1.7 to 1.8 million in revenue per year, which is kind of crazy, So the thing for them, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't want to.
No.
Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just want to know what their labor costs are. What are they paying?
Well, that's going to depend on the geography.
Yeah, who's
and in
cooking
California,
the
you're
food?
paying 99 cents for every single trip because you have to pay the health insurance and do all that. Every single
What?
one has that. Every
locality is
order,
different.
no matter
Every
how big or
locality is
small, you have
different.
to pay a 99 cents fee on top of all the other fees for what they call
That's a California fee,
state.
though.
Well,
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
California thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are upping the prices of their food on the app
Right, to
to
compensate.
help. But
And they should.
Are you expecting people to pay $24 for 12 wings? I mean, like, is that
People
like,
do it. People do
Yeah.
it. Trust me.
Listen,
Every
I mean,
time I've
hold
gone
on.
there,
I'm
they
one of
will,
those
don't
guys.
get me wrong, but
They do it, but believe me, I notice it. I notice that I'm paying $50 to have sushi delivered that was normally $27. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I'll just either drive to the store myself or just not even bother. It's definitely lowered the amount. I was on Uber. I had the Uber One pass too, where it was like whatever it was, like a priority orders and like one, no fees. I got rid of all that shit, honestly.
Here's a question, Adam. If you did it yourself and you hired your own driver, how much would it cost you?
way too much. We already factored it out.
Is it more than the 30%? This is the question.
Yeah, I mean, because you're factoring in, like, we'd have to have a vehicle. It's certain for us because we're in like a downtown area where they charge for parking, which is like a whole, we only signed a 1 more year lease because, the parking situation in our area is awful. Like, honestly,
Where are you again?
like Royal Oak, Michigan. So it's like
Okay,
it's one of those like downtown,
metropolitan.
like areas, a lot of businesses around, but a lot of people are leaving because the parking. I mean, I talk to people every day. Parking, you know what I mean? How many times can I talk to you about parking? They still come. I mean, I had a couple people that were here yesterday that came. You know what I mean? Like, if your product is good, that's the biggest thing, I think. Like, when you get into the delivery services and all the extra fees, I mean, I'm worried for the restaurant industry, honestly. Like, this is probably my last hurrah in it because.
But doesn't Uber and Lyft help with that because it eliminates the parking situation? Someone can just Uber to the restaurant, have their meal, and then Uber home and not have to deal with it.
I mean, are you talking about like people Ubering to the restaurant to eat and then Ubering home?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't seen too much of that. I mean, it is kind of popular. Like, we're a drinking city, kind of. So you will
doing
see
that
a
anyway.
lot of But I don't know if people are willing in this area. It's like Michigan. Like,
Adam, do you think one day, if you have the capital and efficiency and growth, you could take your company public? Do you think it could be a franchise? Like,
I mean, I think if someone wanted to back me and put money in, like Chipotle, we could make this shit rock. Like,
really? You have faith you could really do that?
Yeah, like, honestly, dude, I can work. I can put out all the food myself every day, and I do some days. Like, it's that dumbed down. We make our noodles. We make everything. Like, I got the system down. Like, if someone wants to throw out money, we could print. But
and the demand is there for this type of food as well.
Exactly. Everyone loves the shit. It's something you spoil yourself with. I mean, people are coming in. I had two like 17-year-olds today have $100 tab. Tell me how they're paying for that. I mean, but they're coming here.
OnlyFans.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Hey, but they're coming here and spending their OnlyFans. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
hey, here's a question:
thing.
How do I order some noodles? How do I get this to New Jersey?
If we were on Gold Belly, I'd be able to send you guys some. But I mean,
is Gold Belly a ghost chicken? A ghost kitchen?
Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should actually do that, like a website, e-commerce. Add that into.
I don't think we're like popular enough for it. Like, you're gonna do all. You're gonna put all the money on it. Like, we're talking like David Chang does that. Like his restaurants are on there, but you know, the prices on there are even more than DoorDash. I mean, you're talking like $50.
Listen, if
for...
TTCF sold some food, you could definitely sell some.
Hey, tell Jeremy.
Or
that
very
shit
good
is
butchers.
trash. That is
Very
the
good
worst
food sold some.
I'm sorry, like I like Jeremy. I like some of his perspectives, but like, man, Tattooed Chef, that food is awful. Like, honestly, like that. Like, if you tasted the food,
I
like,
tried
I'm
some
not
of
trying
it.
to.
It's not all
It's
terrible.
not good. It's not good. Like, I'll cook you some vegan stuff. Like that is like our vegan ramen. I mean, our vegan ramen, honestly, dude, is maybe our best ramen. Like, we gotta.
Dude, I love.
Like,
There's a place called Jinya that's by us. Dude, we get the creamy, spicy vegan. What is that thing called? Ramen. It's awesome, dude. I don't know why vegan ramen just makes sense. It's so fucking good.
It's, you know, miso is your friend. You know, like,
It makes me so happy.
No, you could have gone the other way there.
Bro, I made that joke
Me
on a
so
date. I made that
horny.
joke on a date, and she was so cringed out, but she couldn't stop laughing about it. And I was like, it was good, right? She was just like, it's just.
Anyway, I gave you a golden idea. You should really do a website to your people who love your food who come in. You could sell it to them and just ship it out to them, honestly, bypassing Uber.
I mean, we would. Honestly.
No, but the thing is, with good ramen, this is what I found. This is the hard part, and I'm not. Maybe you can confirm it. It's all about the broth. Like, if you can't do a good broth, the ramen is trash.
Yeah, but he's gonna
Like,
package it properly.
It's hard. Yeah.
I forgot.
You know, I'm telling you guys. I know it's suspect. You know, you got white Italian guy cooking ramen, but you know what I mean. Like, look at our reviews. Like, been here for 3 years.
I told you this was gonna be a
Bobby
ramen
Flay
commercial.
cooks Mexican. Bobby Flay does Mexican better.
But you're right.
Better
You're
than
right.
most people.
You're right. It is about the broth. It is about the broth. But
Well,
you
what's your
gotta
ramen
cook
called again? What's your store called?
City ramen.
City ramen.
You should call
What
it
was
white
the,
ramen.
What was the original? Just so
We
I'm-
should just go degen on it. We should.
You should
We
call
might
it
as
white
well.
ramen and write "We are the shit." That's it.
Yeah.
Just so I know, what was
some
the original
brands that use
question?
curse words end up doing well.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
there are certain brands that do that. All right.
What was the original question, Adam?
Just how do you evaluate food brands that are public?
Yeah, just wanted Chris's
Wingstop,
perspective. You know, you mentioned First Watch and Wingstop, so you're muted, Chris.
Just making sure that we address
Can you
that.
share
That
the
was the best
screen?
point you've ever made, Chris.
Can you share the screen? I'll just show you guys really quickly with Wingstop. The crazy thing is, this is their free cash flow. Okay, they're just monsters at growing free cash flow. The only time where they've had weaknesses in free cash flow is when they've had COVID. But other than that,
What is
it's
this
been-
other
yeah.
time besides COVID?
This
What
was
is other
during
time?
this was during COVID, and then this one where they were actually revamping some of their marketing and some of their other stuff. But
Mhm.
they by far right now are just going gangbusters in sales. Like,
How much
it's-
revenue do they do?
So-
Like a year?
Let me pull it up.
So they have commissary kitchens where they make everything, and then you're just having minions put the food together at the stores. Is
It's
that,
wings, man. It's just wings. You have these proprietary sauces that they have. Yeah. No, but the thing is, like, if you look at it, all they really do is just they take wings, they fry them up, and then they toss them in their proprietary sauces, and then they sell them. That's about it. And then they have like really good Cajun corn that they have. Like, I just think the business is so easy and simple to run. Bro next to me has it's packed all the time. Like, you go to any Uber, like right now, every time I go to Wingstop, all I see is people just waiting for their Ubers to pick up. But I also see tons of people in the restaurants. And that's the thing, right? Like, these are the kinds of things that I would say do some research on. The only part that I don't like about this is the valuation seems a little high, in that their PE is like
Ridiculous.
100. But if
You
they're
should never
growing,
do that. It doesn't
Wait,
matter.
Tesla's
Yeah.
PE is lower than Wingstop's?
It's
PE?
it's
I
ridiculous.
mean, like, you
It's
shouldn't.
ridiculous. I like
It's
that.
so
There's-
dangerous to go into a company like this. Like, I agree with you; they're growing now, but I would wait for when they do a pullback, because it looks like they ebb and flow. So when they're pulled back, that's when you go seriously deep dive. You don't go.
Chris
running
might have a
for-
Chipotle on his hands. You don't
No,
know.
but
Yeah.
hold on.
Brand is
But
that
wait.
good.
But hold on. To Vitaly's point, if it can sustain 100, whatever it's 100 PE, and then you do get a pullback, then that becomes your median. You know that the market will allow for it.
Do you know what
So,
100 PE means, by the way? takes 100
That's
years for you to
that-
get your money
that's
out of there. That's
ridiculous.
what it means.
That's ridiculous.
Do you understand what it means? Like that number means a lot. Okay.
That's
Wait,
a lot.
why do you mean? Why does it take 100 years? Explain the logic.
It's the
behind that.
price to earnings, man. It's 100 times
Their
the
yearly
yearly
earnings.
earnings that they're getting. You're paying 100x. So
But
do
wait,
not
but
pay
that doesn't
100x for.
mean-
Hold on.
But
You're
the
paying.
Tesla's at 50 price earnings, but
That's
people
fine.
will still.
You're paying for Tesla. That's an energy company going to grow into a massive tens of trillion
$1
dollar industry. Where is this
Wingstop's gonna have a lot of flavors.
Yeah.
Where is this wing?
Do you know?
I feel like
Listen, do you know how many
there's a
chickens?
lot of
need-
knockoffs.
You guys are supposed to laugh. That was such a good joke.
Amit, share the screen real quick.
That was
Share the
such a
screen.
good
real quick.
joke. I said Wingstop will have a lot of
There's-
flavors against Tesla's going to be an energy company. And no,
Amit,
I will say
was
there's
this-
a lot of knockoffs. Like there's no knockoff to Starbucks. Like it's Starbucks is the only one on DoorDash. There's no other coffee shop on DoorDash. We got Detroit Wing. We got some. I can't remember there's like 4 of them around us. I know it's just Michigan, but
But see, that's the same argument that you can say. Like, look at how many pizza stores there are in the U.S. Yet Domino's and not Pizza Hut anymore,
Papa
but
John's.
Domino's kills it. Papa John kills it. So look at this right here. I've been tracking this stock for the last 6 years, and every time I look at the stock, it's overvalued. But this is what happens. They grow into their valuation. If you had bought this company when it first IPO'd in 2015, it was around $28. Right now, it's trading at almost $200. Okay, the growth.
Gross.
I think everyone always looks at like growth companies like tech as that's the only way that you can get a multi-bagger. Dude, Chipotle was the same thing.
True.
Chipotle's always been overvalued. Starbucks has always felt overvalued. It's just like, whoa, wait a second. There's tons of coffee shops everywhere. These guys have some sort of proprietary or carnal knowledge of their product, and they're able to scale up and then keep scaling up. Like, this company hasn't even gone international yet, or hasn't even realized its full potential of total restaurants that they want to get to, which is about 4,000 plus. They want to do Europe, which is they already have like pilot restaurants in Europe, and same thing with now. They want to go eventually end up in China. So this is one of those
people eat wings. They eat some wings.
yeah, I mean, yeah, people love wings.
Is
See,
Chipotle
This
international?
is why. This is why I think everyone is here and loves you guys. Like, you guys back it up. You know what I mean? Like, you guys back it up. I'm just saying.
Oh, you had a good
Listen,
question. You sparked the discussion. So thank you for being on, Adam. It was awesome.
Yeah, so when it comes to franchises, it's really hard to value them like a traditional company. Like, you really have to see what their total growth potential is. And sometimes you just got to, unfortunately, and this is not how I invest, but sometimes when it comes to like companies that are growing that fast, you just got to hold your nose and buy into them. And
I agree with that statement.
And then that's it. Like, because sometimes the PEs are ridiculous. The PEs can be really, sometimes the metrics that you traditionally go by to assert valuation may not work out as well. And I tend to look for companies that have good free cash flow. If their free cash flow is growing, the business is growing, and eventually they'll keep growing that whole thing. So, yep.
Okay.
Guys, just so you can finally relax. According to Johnny, that they passed the bill. So
The bill is passed. Does the market
There we
rally
go.
tomorrow, or is it priced in?
No,
The
I think it
rallies
rallies
will
till
not be
rallies till 3:30 p.m.
And then it's all
Then
on Friday.
It's
All right, Adam. Thank you for being on, man. We appreciate
All
it. It was
right,
a great
thanks, guys.
discussion.
Take it
This was
easy.
great. Thanks so much. Bye.
Yeah, the reason why I researched a lot of those franchises because of your question, Amit. You asked about, I think a week and a half ago, you said, how do you identify multi-baggers? And I think everyone always expects, oh, only tech can be a multi-bagger. And I don't think that's true. There's other industries that you have to look at that can be
Monster
multi-baggers.
drink, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think consumer products, if you have a consumer product that's a hit, could be a multi-bagger. Look at Celsius.
Absolutely.
Celsius was trading for a fucking $1 4 years ago. Okay.
What's that, $7
Think about
right
it.
now?
Huh?
Celsius.
No, look at Celsius. Look at Celsius and show everyone.
Because Tristan, my videographer, he buys like 7 of these every week. Like he can't stop drinking this shit. And
Here,
it's
let me show you what.
$133. Holy
Let
crap.
me let me show you guys what
do
it
you have
looks
it?
like.
Anita,
Yeah,
Anita's
that's
right. There's
Celsius.
hidden gems in
Okay.
every.
This
in
is
every
Celsius.
industry.
During COVID, okay,
Holy
it was
what's
trading
the
at
stock price?
$4,
What's the current stock price? You're not showing
130.
that.
133.
No, nice 133x.
Crap.
It went to $10 billion market cap. That's right. Look, $4 turns into 133.
Yep.
Look at the
This is
ROI.
a better return than
2000
Enphase. This is a better return than the
No,
microinverter.
there's a lot of these food companies that blow up. And in that
Yeah.
respect, Jeremy was not wrong. He just picked one of the bad ones because a
Yeah.
lot of them fail.
So
Yo,
I would say
if TTCF did what Celsius did, Jeremy would be a fucking legend, bro. If
would
that
have been.
happened, because that's
The
hard.
problem is it depends on so many things. So the consumer has to want the product. The management has
product
to
has to be good too, right? It has to be really good.
It has
For
to taste
food,
right.
Chris? For food to take off, it has to be really good, like Texas Roadhouse.
it's one of those things. It's just one of those things that it's like a fad. when it
Cheesecake
comes up,
Factory. I've always
and
said I
people don't-
should have bought that during COVID
Yeah.
because I ate there all the time.
Yeah. I mean, but then there are others that completely burn out. Like here's the one that I know that a lot of people lost their money on, Oatly. Oatly, when it first came out, dude, stores couldn't keep them on their shelves. They would go that far. There was like a black market for fucking oat milk at the time. I don't know if you guys know that. Like yeah, there's literally people like buying up Oatly and then selling it online for like twice or three times the markup.
Yeah, it's more of a niche market. Like wings, at least I can say everybody, 99% of people will eat wings. How many people drink oat milk?
But with oat milk, there's a lot of people that drink it.
Well, I'm saying, but what's the percentage? 1 out of every 100 people? 1 out of every 1,000 people?
It's more than you think, man. It's more than you think. Yeah.
Well, it's my wife, one person.
But the reason why Oatly never really did much is because they never gained enough market share because of their production woes to like really like seal the deal. And so everyone else started doing oat milk too. And basically just they lost out on that, you know. So if you have a product that works, you better have a CEO that knows how to scale the shit out of that product, get into every homes, and then get to the point where that product is just so phenomenal that people don't even think about switching ever. Like Red Bull. I know so many people, Red Bull. I mean, I drink Red Bull too, right? Now it's really hard for me to switch out of my habit of drinking Red Bull, you know? So
coconut water was a big thing. Remember that? When
dude, look at this. Dude, I'll tell you now, what's his name? Logan Paul and KSI are going to be billionaires. Okay.
I don't know if they're going to be billionaires. They're going to sell it for $1 billion. They're going to sell Prime for $1 billion.
No. They're going to be billionaires. They're going to be.
I don't know if Prime scales to make them worth $1 billion in equity.
Wait, what drink did they have?
Sell it for like $7-8 billion or something. For that to happen.
Dude.
What drink do they have?
Prime gets sold for $7-8 billion.
Oh, it's called Prime. All right,
it's called Prime. See, even Vitaly should know what it is, and it's not as crazy of a brand as people think it is. It's a big brand, but I don't know if it's enough to make them a billionaire.
Think about the exposure they're giving it to him every time he does a fight, dude. Come on.
Okay, here's a question. What do you think their retail sales were? What do you think their retail sales
I'm in that world. It's meme-ish, but they're doing numbers. They like some of the fights, like the one with Anderson Silva didn't do as well, but they're doing numbers. And this one with Nate Diaz, I don't know if you're gonna be, I'm probably gonna check that one out.
But that's Jake Paul, not Logan Paul.
Still, what do you think? They're all in it together. They're brothers.
That's fair. Chris, go ahead.
So you'd be surprised, but they had total retail sales of $250 million last year, and they're projected to do twice, actually maybe even 3 times this year. My niece, when we were in Disney, you would think that, a little girl, blah, 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 she wanted Prime. She was drinking Prime. She was like, I want Prime. She, by the way, she doesn't know who Logan Paul or KSI are, by the way. So she's a believer of the product, not these guys, but that's how it is. Look at 50 Cent with vitamin water.
That's true.
He blew the shit out. He blew that up too. Yeah, he did blow that up. I forgot about that one. That was, and they got me too. Because once you acquired the taste for it, because it's very mild. Once you acquire the taste for it, you start to like it. And then when I would go back to like Snapple, it felt like sugar water because I got used to like the lower sugar content. So it's true.
Yeah. Same thing with Starbucks. Like my wife right now, she's addicted to Starbucks.
Twice a day.
She's
all right.
She's trying to
get
the
next food junkies. We'll talk about.
No, but see, one thing I want our viewers to do: if you guys find a food brand or a restaurant brand that's up and coming that you really like, put it on there. I'd love, or add us on Twitter. I'd love to do some research on some up and coming stuff because I think there's some opportunity to get
Chris.
in. Yeah. Just add Chris. You can add me. I'll take it. I'll make those 10x's. I'll take that.
We'll let Chris do the DD, and then he'll tell us. He'll tell us about it anyway.
I'm about to go do some DD on Kava. That's what my wife got me for dinner. So.
All right.
This is why Chris finds these daggers.
I got a jet.
He's like, I got to do DD. It's like,
all right, everybody.
All right, guys, we're out. Please subscribe to the new channel. For those saying I didn't ring the bell at 500, I did. Go to the middle of the pod. I rang it. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you on Sunday night. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.